This episode of Another Happy Pod is going to contain spoilers. If you've not experienced the content yourself, please go ahead and do so before coming back and listening to the boys ramble on about it. Thank you very much.
Hello and welcome to Another Happy Pod, brought to you by a network that we hope you've forgotten about by now because we have. The pod where we keep it fresh, positive and dripping in festive vibes today. Today is Christmas Day, or at least it will be if I get the edit done. Nathan, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. It's not at all been cancelled. We're not on our own. We're all together with our families enjoying a lovely festive day.
It's true. Me and Nathan are currently several feet away from each other, enjoying a hearty Christmas meal. Currently recording this.
We've both had a mince pie. We got a glass of sherry. We got those little hats which are too small. We got the sherry. We got those little hats which are too small for our heads. We're having a great time all around.
They always are too small for the heads, aren't they? They never make them like the right size. They're either massive or they're way too small.
They're ridiculous. I fucking hate putting those stupid hats on. But anyway, Merry Christmas. Let's all just forget that it's been cancelled. All right, let's all just pretend. Let's just have this. Okay.
I agree. I think that's the best way forward. Nathan, I set you a task this week, and that was to watch a Christmas movie that I'm quite surprised you didn't get round to seeing when it came out. I think it came out last year. Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, it's you certainly did set me a task to watch this movie. So we watched Last Christmas, the Emilia Clarke Christmas rom-com, I guess, if you want to call it that. Yeah.
I don't know if I guess it's got that kind of look. Emma Thompson wrote this. She wrote Love Actually as well, I believe.
Emma Thompson wrote this.
Emma Thompson wrote this. She's in it as well, isn't she?
She is in this, and I did have some questions about her casting, but I guess that makes sense now.
Yeah, Emma Thompson wrote this along with her, I think it's her husband Greg, whose surname I can't remember, but they both did Love Actually as well, to my knowledge.
Right. Okay.
So I was surprised when this...
So, all right, why did you want me to watch this movie?
I wanted you to watch this because last Christmas, I went to see this in the cinema and I was very excited. I like Wham. I think my favourite Christmas song is probably Last Christmas by Wham. So I was excited. I thought this will be fun. And it was around that time of year when all the like the big kind of... what's the word for them? You know, like Rocket Man, Bohemian Rhapsody, like the big musical films were being made.
Biopics.
Yeah, so I was like, this will be fun. We'll go and see this. We'll have a great kind of lead up to Christmas, and it will be like a heartwarming, feel good film.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I don't know if you enjoyed this.
So if you're listening to this. The spoiler warning is at the beginning of every episode, so we will be saying spoilers, okay? But let me just say this, okay? I had absolutely no idea what this movie was about, okay? So from what I understood, I knew Emilia Clarke was in it, and I thought it was some kind of Christmas-themed rom-com, okay? And for, like... the first half of the movie, at least, that's what it is, okay? And I was like, yeah, it's fine. It's not groundbreaking. There's Emilia Clarke. She's very cute. She's met this weird, slightly quirky, slightly mysterious guy who's very happy, a little too happy, if you ask me. And they just have this kind of like little romance and everything like that, okay? That was pretty much all I knew about the movie. So, when the twist of this movie happens, and let me just say, I was kind of enjoying it. It was all right. There were some really funny moments. There's some good writing in there. And there's some funny and quirky characters. Michelle Yeoh is great, as are the two police officers. They're quite funny as well. But when the twist happened, I completely did a 180 on this movie, and I was like, oh, no, I fucking hate this. This is bad. This is a bad fucking movie.
I have never look, don't get me wrong, I saw the twist semi sort of coming.
Same.
But it is completely out of fucking
I
left
talked
field.
myself out. All right, he's dead. He's been dead. They never met. He's dead. He gave her his heart. I actually had the thought that this movie reminded me of the writing process of a Glee episode, because I felt like they just had the idea for a song and then writ the entire movie around that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so in the trailer, I purposely didn't send you the one. Nathan asked me to send him a trailer because I tried to convince him to watch this, and he said, all right, show me a trailer, and if the trailer's fine,
I didn't even watch a trailer
we'll
in the
end.
end.
You didn't watch it?
No, I didn't watch a trailer. I went in completely blind.
Yeah, you went in completely blind. Well, I purposely didn't send you the trailer that says a musical based on Last Christmas by, Wham.
I mean, that was pretty evident from like the opening scenes, though, really.
Yes, but they meant in the trailer, they mean it quite literally based on the lyrics, Last Christmas, I gave you my heart.
Oh, okay.
And it is like, right, I semi sort of saw it coming, but at the same time, it came out of left field. But the movie shot itself in the foot because of the fact that up until about maybe, I don't know how long the movie is. Let's say if it's 2 hours, then maybe about an hour and a half in, there was just nothing happening. Like there was no plot.
There was no plot to this movie for the majority of it.
Yeah, like there was like what was really confusing was that there was loads of side plots.
Yeah.
But then the kind of the plot A storyline, or like the time that the movie had for that storyline, was just kind of Emilia Clarke walking around and being in a pub or being drunk or being miserable or eating chips or something. Like there was nothing happening, and then out of nowhere you just go, oh, the entire movie was that twist.
That was it. It really was. So I'm the same. I also semi saw it coming, but I talked myself out of it because there was definitely an air of mystery around Tom, this character. There was something that just he was always disappearing. There was just something not quite right about him. At first, I thought he might have been homeless. He might have been a homeless person, and that's why he was always in the same clothes. But then he had a flat, so I was like, oh, well, that's obviously not the case. And then I thought, is he dead? Has he really talked to anyone else? Because it's just been him and her the entire time. So I thought that might be it. And then I talked myself out of it because I remembered all the interactions they had, specifically the one where she was waiting for the bus. And that one just pissed me off anyway, because that bus driver was waiting for so fucking long before she actually got on that bus. If you've got on a bus in London, that would not fucking happen, mate. They would just leave you standing there in the cold. They do not care. But I talked myself out of that because there was no possible way that she would have just been talking to herself in front of the bus driver and he would have no reaction. And then how would she get into his flat? How would she know where his flat is? None of it made any sense. I was like, oh, that's obviously not it.
Yeah, this is the problem when you write a ghost story, right? Look, a while ago, I fancied myself as something of a writer. I was not, but I tried writing a little short film about ghosts, right? Right. I thought I was really cool, and I thought this is going to be really cool stuff. Like, this is going to be a great script. I immediately ran into a problem the second my ghost needed to pick something up.
Yeah.
And I went, well, hang on. Then you find yourself doing like mental hurdles, like how, if the ghost can pick this up, is that like a thing in this world? Can ghosts do that? As soon as you put a ghost in a story, you're fucked, because there's going to be a plot hole no matter what you do.
Was he a ghost, or was he just a figment of her imagination? I guess he was a ghost, because otherwise how would she know him?
Yeah, like he must have been a ghost.
Yeah.
He can't, she wouldn't have just made up this random person, because she knew down to the detail of exactly what he looked like. So he must
exactly.
have been.
And she knew where he lived. And I'm like, how? How did she know all this stuff? It doesn't make any sense. I'm sure it's like, all right, he's somehow his heart in her body is giving her these memories, I guess, which isn't actually completely unheard of. There is actually stuff like that that happens. I remember a news story fucking years ago, where one guy had a heart transplant. And for some reason, after the transplant, he really liked painting. And he never picked up a paintbrush before, but after the heart transplant, he was actually a very good painter. And it turns out the guy he had the heart transplant from, the guy whose heart he had, I should say, was also a painter. And his paintings were almost identical to the other guy's paintings. So shit like that does happen. There is some weird kind of fucking... I don't know if it's science, but there's something weird going on there. But this just seems fucking...
Mate, this is so out of left field, right? I get that, and I'm sure there's an element of science kind of to it, right? I'm nowhere near smart enough to understand any of that shit or how it works.
No, me
but
neither.
I know it doesn't work like this.
It definitely doesn't work like this, no. How did she know where he works? None of it makes any sense, man. None of it.
And why did no one, like, she went to that, like, the homeless shelter where he apparently was, like, he was there all the time. And I know he had the whole, like, oh, I work with the night crew.
Yeah.
Do none of them speak to, like, the manager? Like, surely someone...
There wasn't one picture of him on the wall with, like, no. Oh, this guy used to work here, but then he tragically died, so he put, like, this little memorial. There wasn't anything like that. That seems kind of weird.
Mate, the homeless people, they live there. They're homeless. They live there. They would have known Tom.
Yeah.
Like, so why when this girl came in running around looking for some dead guy called Tom, was no one like, Tom, oh, that rings a bell. That's the guy that died like last week or last year or something.
It was weird, man. It was really weird. It definitely doesn't make any sense at all. But
what did you make of it up until the twist? Because I have to be honest, right? I get what you're saying about the 180, but I 100% this film is fun. Like
it's fun.
I'm ashamed to say I kind of like it.
No, there's no shame in it. It's definitely a fun movie. There's definitely fun elements. I mean, it's directed by Paul Feig, who does this kind of stuff well. You know, he does like Bridesmaids and that sort of thing. So he can definitely handle the comedy. And like I said, written by Emma Thompson, who's a good writer as well. There's just some... I don't know, but no, you're right. It is fun. Like I said earlier, the two policewoman characters, the woman from Doctor Who, and the other one I don't know, but those were great. Those were really funny. And Michelle Yeoh as well was hilarious in this movie. I loved her as the
she Santa.
She is. She's Santa.
Yeah,
I really liked her. It was a little weird that Emma Thompson was this very Slavic woman, I guess is the right way to say it. It's just because Emma Thompson is so well known, and when you see Emma Thompson, you think of the most British actress and the most British voice ever, and then to suddenly see her playing this very old European lady, it just seemed weird, and it just seemed like a really weird choice to me. And another
also, right, they've made the conscious choice. This film is set in either 2016. Oh yeah, no. So Tom
it's set
died
in 2016. Yeah, he died in 2016. It's set in 2017, and
they
do
that for Brexit.
Yeah, I was just about to say there's this really weird Brexit subplot which doesn't go anywhere. It just like they see it on the news, and then there's a racist guy on the bus, and then that's it. And it's just kind of dropped and.
Yeah, and also that the racist guy on the bus is like the most stereotypical racist guy on the bus ever.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way you could have done that any differently.
Millwall FC is...
Oh, that is bloody true. You're not wrong. But yeah, no, so what were you kind of... like? I suppose, did you enjoy it as a whole? Like, the whole movie?
Oh, you see, that's difficult because it was definitely fun. And I really liked the scenes with the homeless characters. They were all great. And, you know, putting on the little show and everything like that was really cute. And there were just great moments of comedy. It was fun. There was definitely fun little scenes to watch. That's what this movie was. It was a series of fun scenes set around a twist which makes no fucking sense whatsoever. That's exactly what this movie is.
this is one of those films where I don't really think I'd ever put it on if I wasn't. I mean, I watched it in the cinema, never watched it again until yesterday.
You watched this in the cinema?
I watched it when it came out. Yeah, it looked, man, the trailers look good. I like the trailers.
Wow.
I know. And I also had an Odeon card, so I was kind of like, I could go and see any film I wanted to. So I was like, fuck it, I'll go see a Christmas film. I liked.
Did you go alone or did you go with Zucchini?
I went with Zucchini, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Mate, how sad would that be for me to go alone to watch it?
No, I got no problem going to the cinema by myself. I do that quite a lot. But
yeah,
this
but to
movie
see a
on your own, yeah, this seems a little weird.
Yeah, to see a rom-com would be unusual on my own. Yeah, so this movie is fun. That you've hit the nail on the head with that. I feel like it's a series. Like if I was to see the scenes come up on YouTube, I'd watch some of the scenes, but I don't think I'd ever rewatch this like fully.
I'd watch the audition scenes. I'd watch the homeless audition scenes, not Emilia Clarke's audition scenes. I'd watch the stuff with the police officers. I would watch anything with Michelle Yeoh. It's probably it. Anything else, I've just got no real interest in watching again, especially none of the stuff with Tom. He was a great actor. I liked him. He was a very nice character. You are instantly drawn to him. Again, apart from the fact that, like I said, he was a little bit too nice for me. Like he was just a little bit too Mr. Perfect, no flaws whatsoever, happy-go-lucky kind of guy. But I don't know. The one thing this film had going against it as well for me, any movie that's set in London, I can't fucking stand. And that's because I know London. And I'm sure like people from New York have this problem as well or whatever. But any movie set in London, I'm like, oh, no, that's not how it works. You can't walk from Covent Garden to the Thames within 4 minutes, okay?
Oh, yeah.
It's just not how it works.
It's like in Thor: The Dark World when he gets on the tube in Greenwich, and no, he gets on the tube like somewhere, and then it's like Greenwich is like 2 stops away, but in reality you've got to change lines like 3 times to get
He was on the Bakerloo line, and they said it's 2 stops. Bakerloo line doesn't even go through Greenwich, for fuck's sake.
That annoyed you so much.
Really, that infuriates me. And Skyfall as well, for the exact same reason. The tube chase sequence on Skyfall infuriates me. But it is what it is. It's movies. It doesn't have to be real. I know. I get it, but I hate it.
But it is annoying. It is
annoying. Yeah.
I feel like I think it's Henry Golding is the name of the actor. I might have got that wrong. That plays Tom.
Yeah, it is.
I feel like he would have been doing a lot more work now if 1, the world hadn't gone to shit, and 2, this movie was better received, because he's a good actor. He's also like very Hollywood handsome.
He's very handsome.
He's a good looking man.
Yeah, he is very handsome. Wasn't he in Crazy Rich Asians?
Was he?
I think he was, yeah. I think he's in Crazy Rich Asians.
Oh, then disregard that point entirely. He must be doing all right for himself.
But I think that was before this, if that came out in 2019, maybe.
Oh, well, then this has killed his career then. In which case he's very much not doing all right for himself.
Was he? Let me have a look. 2019, Last Christmas, 2018, Crazy Rich Asians. So, yeah.
Okay. All right.
He is in... he's in the 2021 hit movie Snake Eyes, whatever that is. That's currently in post-production. So we'll look forward to that.
I look forward to Snake Eyes eagerly. I've got to ask you, what did you think about the script? Not like the plot of the movie, but the actual dialogue. Because I have some thoughts.
There were some great one-off lines. The lesbian pudding was a highlight for me. Enjoyed that.
It is a good line.
It's a good line. It was one of those lines that caught me off guard. I don't know. I don't think it was very memorable in either direction, to be honest. There was no lines that like stood out to me as like, oh, it's amazing. Or there was no lines that stood out to me like, oh, that was a bit fucking awful. I don't know. Mike, what you got?
See, I disagree entirely there. I think it's in this weird mixture of like fucking university student, first year screenwriter that thinks they're the next Chris Nolan.
Yeah.
And like Academy Award winner. Like some of the comedy is like absolutely hilarious. Like there's some, like you say, the lesbian pudding line is hilarious. The why do you keep trying to walk me? I'm not a dog line. That's brilliant as well. There's some genuinely hilarious lines.
Oh, there was one where Emilia Clarke was working in the Christmas shop, and Michelle Yeoh's boyfriend just walked in, so she took over like the couple that Michelle Yeoh was serving, and they were talking about nutcrackers, and she just said, and this is so childish and juvenile, but it made me laugh so much, and she just said, "Here, let me show you this other nutcracker for bigger nuts," and he went, "Oh, it can crack bigger nuts," and Emilia Clarke said, "Yeah, it can crack your big nuts." And I just burst out laughing so much.
What a child you are, Nathan.
I know. I am a child.
But it mostly comes in. My issues with it mostly come in with Tom. I don't know why. Actually, there's one other character as well, but it's mostly Tom. Because you get those hilarious lines. You get like this script is very good at like a flowing conversation. It's very good at like people bouncing off of each other, which is good because that's like 95% of the movie. But some of Tom's one-liners are just so unbearably awkward. Like, you know, when you get a sense of like no one fucking speaks like that in real life, no one.
Yeah.
And it mixes between exactly how people speak in real life, where they can have like kind of witty one-liners and take the piss out of each other, and then you've got, I don't know if I wrote it down, but it's something along the line of Tom says, no, Emilia Clarke says, "Oh, you know, Swiper, the modern dating app you might have heard of."
Oh, that was... Well, just say Tinder. Just fucking say Tinder.
One, just say Tinder. And two, imagine if you were like, "Lawrence, have you seen this movie?" I went, "Oh, that movie that everyone's heard of, Nathan? Come on."
Yeah.
Like, it's so uncomfortable. And also then Tom, in the same scene, Tom says something like, weirder than one of those apps that you know, are based on a Photoshop picture. You decide if you want to engage in immediate foreplay. Like, who the fuck talks like that?
It was weird. Yeah, it was really weird. And I guess that was one of the things. He didn't seem like a real person. Like, from the moment you meet him, he's this way too happy-go-lucky, quirky, stopping to look at birds in the middle of Covent Garden kind of guy. If that guy would not survive in London, we know London, they would be swallowed up, eaten out, and killed instantly. Like,
I feel like he would come into London, this guy, and by the end of his working day, he'd go home like, "I fucking hate my life."
I love London, all right? I genuinely love that city. It's a fucking amazing city. It's so exciting. There's a lot of stuff to do, and I genuinely do miss living there. But at the same time, I fucking hate London because it's the most depressing cesspool of anger and hatred that you will ever find. People aren't nice in London, man. They are not nice whatsoever. You cannot be that happy in London. It just doesn't work out. It just doesn't. And this is my problem with Tom. He was and this sounds like an awful criticism, especially given the fucking name of this podcast, but he was way too happy, for one.
That's right. Another happy pod condemns happy movies. How dare you make movies that cheer people up and make them feel good.
He was annoyingly happy, though. Do you know what I mean? He was just way too... He was up his own arse as well.
Yeah, he was one of them. He was one of them people that, like, you can clearly tell, right? He was like, I reckon he secretly volunteered so he could tell people he volunteered.
Oh, 100%. And he like thinks he's better than you because he doesn't use his phone and he doesn't know what Tinder is or whatever and everything like that. He just seems like a dickhead in that respect. But
in reality, he just can't use his phone because he's dead. What a fucking loser.
I know what I can.
But he can wear his clothes. He wasn't wearing those clothes when he died. He's put his clothes back on.
He's got a fresh drip, man. He's looking good.
He is looking good.
But yeah, but that was my problem. He didn't really seem to have a single flaw. He was just so Mr. Perfect, the perfect smile, romantic and sweet, and finding these brilliant date ideas for the two of them, taking her around London, telling her stories about people and benches which probably aren't real, talking, working at the homeless shelter, volunteering, charity, all of that stuff. He just seemed way too perfect, like he literally was a figment of Emilia Clarke's imagination. Like, she'd literally made up the perfect man, except that he was a real person and he did all that stuff. So it just... That's my he's not relatable in any way. And I guess he's not supposed to be, because Emilia Clarke's supposed to be the more relatable character in this movie. She's the one who's very down on her luck. She's clearly going through a difficult time, drinking, shagging, all this kind of stuff, family troubles and everything like that. So she is clearly supposed to be the relatable one, the audience eye and everything like that. But again, there was all of that about him. It would just completely put me off him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh no, completely. I feel like you're right. They made him too perfect. Therefore, you just couldn't really, like, if anything, he was more annoying than like. Yeah. I remember when I watched it in the cinema, and I kind of didn't think about it, but then I watched it again yesterday. When he said, when he was like, "Oh, I don't use my phone. It's in a cupboard. Turn it off, and all your distractions will fade away." It reminded me of a time where I broke my phone when I was at uni.
I was literally just thinking about it.
Yeah, I broke my phone or lost it, whatever. I didn't have a phone for about 3 days when I was at uni, so I'd ordered a new one. I was waiting for it to come in the post, blah, blah, blah. And every time I was kind of sat like in the kitchen with a shed, like in the shared communal kitchen, people would be on their phones. So I would always say, "Come on, guys, just disconnect." Because I was obviously at that time I'd normally be on my phone as well, and where I couldn't be, I was kind of taking the piss, going, "Come on, guys, just disconnect, like, connect to the real world," kind of thing. And but basically this guy was the real version, the unironic version of that, and it was just a bit like, "Oh, shut the fuck up, man."
I mean, you say it was ironic, but
Look, it was partially a joke, but I was also very lonely and bored. I just wanted some attention and love.
I know you did. Bless you. Yeah. It's a weird movie, and like I said, the whole Last Christmas, as in like the Wham thing, it feels very forced in. That's why I'm saying it feels like they had the idea for the song and just wrote it around that. Like, I wasn't entirely sure what they wanted to do. They just, like, I don't know, Emma Thompson was in a kitchen one day listening to Wham and then just started jotting something down. I don't want to mean that to sound as disrespectful to Emma Thompson as it does, because she's a great writer and she's a very talented person. But it doesn't seem up to scratch with her usual sort of stuff,
yeah.
I guess.
I mean, look, like, while this, like we said, it does have, some fun one-liners. It does have a very kind of happy tone, and it is quite an uplifting film. Like, I'd imagine if you're in a bad mood and you watch this, it's going to cheer you up to some extent.
Yeah,
but it just lacks any depth, and that sounds so pretentious to say, but it's just, there's nothing to it. Like, the surface is the whole movie, and it just feels a little bit one note and a bit boring. Like, it definitely isn't going to hold up well once people know the twist, or I suppose they do now.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's got good ratings at all. Like, I pulled it up. It's got a 6.5 on IMDb and a 47% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, for Emma Thompson, is not good.
Why was it set in 2017?
It was made for the Brexit thing, and I don't know why
Brexit's
it needs to be.
Brexit's still fucking ongoing, like... We're in 2020 now and it's still happening. Like, if this movie came out in 2019, 2 years after it's actually set, what difference would it have made to just set it in that year? Or not even put any data on it at all and just say 1 year earlier when you did the Tom Death thing? Would there really have been any difference to that?
I think, I'm sure someone that studies movies and is a film student has probably broken down why it's an overarching theme of the film and why it's important. The only thing I can think of is 2016 is probably like, I think that was the year of the referendum, wasn't it?
The referendum happened in summer of 2016. Yeah.
Okay, so that was probably, I guess the mindset behind that was that it was like at the height of the, like, people, like, whatever you voted, some people just took it as an excuse to be racist. And
I mean, I guess, but the thing is, it's still happening though. Like, people are still racist because of it to this day. So
racism ended in 2017, Nathan. What are you talking about?
Sorry, I forgot about the magic of Last Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? You know, when Emilia Clarke starts speaking, rumor has it she went around London doing so many good deeds that
she cured racism. Yeah. Good for you, Emilia Clarke. Good for you.
The actress, not the character.
No, yeah, Emilia Clarke herself walked around.
Oh, funny. Yeah, it's. I don't know why it was there. It's one of there's about 8 side plots in this film, and none of them are particularly interesting.
None of them really pay off either. There's the whole mum and dad divorce maybe happening thing. Doesn't happen. Never brought up again.
Fine. Christmas dinner, they're fine.
They're absolutely fine. There's the sister being gay. Absolutely no ramifications whatsoever. Just happy-go-lucky. Yeah, bring your girlfriend around. No worries, mate. No problem there. Which is
if
good.
If anything, that made me like Emilia Clarke's character worse.
Yeah, it was very like, why have you just outed your sister? Why?
Yeah, mate, especially like in the context of the scene, she walks in late, right, to the congratulations dinner for her sister's like brilliant promotion. She can't remember why there's a dinner, and then her sister gets mad about that, which is completely reasonable. And then she's like, "Well, you're a fucking lesbian," so I
don't care about you. I was too busy hanging out with my dead boyfriend.
Yeah, exactly. I was too busy walking around the park speaking to no one.
And kissing no one in the middle of a park.
That park as well, right? Are all the other people in that park ghosts?
I don't know. Maybe. I think that was kind of hinted at.
They've all got their own bench.
Yeah, they all had their own little bench. I think that might have been the idea, but I don't know. I kind of took it as like the first time that scene happened, and he was telling her their stories and who those people was. I thought he didn't have a fucking clue who these people were. He's just making this up. That's kind of
it was like a people watching kind of thing.
Yeah. But I don't know. Who knows? Emma Thompson knows, I guess.
I'm sure she does, but she hasn't told us yet.
Yeah. So fuck
This is something I wrote down. I don't know if this is a terrible movie, but I just like Wham and Christmas.
Wham is great. Wham is great. I mean, Wham will always get me in the mood. I love a bit of George Michael. Last Christmas is an absolute fucking bop. It is one of the best Christmas songs ever written. So there you go. But I just is it enough to base a whole movie around? Clearly not in this case, because it didn't work.
And and it's only based off of one line of that song as well.
It's literally just based off the chorus. This is what I'm saying. That's why it's the writing of a Glee episode, because they just listened to the chorus and went, that'll make a good movie, won't it? The answer is no, it wouldn't, Emma. It wouldn't.
Yeah, please don't do this. Please make something else.
What are the ratings? What are the reactions to this? Is it not good?
It didn't go down well.
Didn't go down well?
No, not really. I mean, I'm remembering a lot. Yeah, I know, right? I'm imagining a lot. I'm remembering a lot of this from when I first came out the cinema, because one of the things I like to do is check out like the trivia page and the IMDb, and just kind of like learn more about the movie. I guess it's one of the like loser things that I do. And I went on this, and when I googled it, it obviously I think I saw this quite early in its run, so a lot of the reviews were still coming in.
Yeah.
And they were like the first couple of results, and they weren't particularly great. I think one of them was, actually, hang on. Alexa, what is the review for Last Christmas?
Here is a summary of Last Christmas reviews. The website's critics' consensus reads, likable leads, terrific behind-the-scenes talent, and an intriguing musical hook aren't enough to save Last Christmas from its poorly conceived story.
I don't know if you heard that.
I mean, kind of. It was pretty quiet.
I'll turn it up in the edit, but it basically just said, everyone that worked on this film was talented. Everyone that wrote it was like good. Everyone that acted in it was doing the best. However, all of that and all of the heart put into it isn't enough to save it from a pretty wank story.
I'm just on the Rotten Tomatoes page right now. Let's just go through a few of these. Just a few quick summaries. Last Christmas is patronising, illogical, and silly. That's from Charlotte O'Sullivan of the Evening Standard. Here's a positive one. You don't want to spoil it. It's silly, but satisfying as plum pudding, which is probably the most British review I've ever heard. The music of George Michael and Wham! Is hauled out onto the soundtrack of this moldy tangerine of a movie with about the same level of care and sensitivity that you might find on the festive mixtape at a motorway service station.
Fucking hell.
Wow. So there we go.
That is what a colourful review that is.
I know. So yeah, also, there we go.
Did you just say Wham with an exclamation mark? Because the exclamation mark is included in the band name.
That was the joke, Lawrence. Okay.
Oh, I didn't get it, Nathan. Now I feel stupid. Now I feel like an idiot.
Its heart was in the right place, it just wasn't there. Very funny. It's likely to become a Christmas classic, but for all the wrong reasons. A Hallmark movie mixed with the forgettable drama £7. I guess that's true. All this is they're all basically saying the same thing. Good characters, good lead, just bad twist or whatever.
Yeah. Good music, good actors, good direction, good writing. Shit. It's just that's the summary.
All the ingredients were there. You had a great writer, you had a great director, great talent, great music. Something went wrong in the baking process, though. And that something was Henry Gold.
Oh, no, leave him alone. He was nice.
He was good. His character was not. Yeah, Tom was what went wrong.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else to say of this movie, and we're almost out of time. So let's wrap this bitch up.
Okay. What? Any favourite moments?
Nah.
None. Just absolutely. I think my favourite thing about this film was that review that you just read out, to be honest.
Well, the service station.
The service station mixtape one. Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah. No, I don't know if maybe the lesbian pudding. I'll say that's my favourite moment.
Okay. I got two. One is when Emma Thompson says they're arguing about her name being Kate or Katerina. And she says, what is, I'm not going to do an accent, but she says, what is cat? You're not a cat, meow. Which just made me laugh because it was like, he didn't need to do that, but it was funny. And the second thing is a genuine moment that I did appreciate, and it's one that I noticed on the second viewing. As Emma Thompson, as Emilia Clarke opens the door and she's just about to find out about the flat. She's just about to find out that the flat is being sold and Tom's dead and the whole twist. The George Michael, the song ends on the George Michael line. I think it's time for you to know, which I quite liked.
Oh, okay.
It was a cool little moment, but then then the twist, and I was like, this movie was a little bit bad. I remember now. How happy of a pod, Nathan?
Not happy at all. Very unhappy of a pod watching this movie. Just definitely not something I'm going to revisit. Like we said, not in my Christmas roster going forward. I have a set Christmas roster of movies I like to watch each year. This one will not be making the cut, unfortunately. So yeah, a very unfestive pod for me. And you somehow tricked me into doing this rating system again. I don't like that.
I did. I'm going to say it's a happy pod. It's a naff pod is what I'm going to go with. It's got the heart, it's fun, but it's just a bit of a crap movie. But yeah, all right, naff pod.
And in the end, isn't that what Christmas is all about? Just a crap movie.
Just a lot of build up, a lot of setup for what ultimately you'll go, last year was probably better, wasn't it?
That was a bit shit, wasn't it? Yeah. That is Christmas down to a T. So in that sense, they nailed it. You know what? I changed my mind. Well done, Emma Thompson. This is a masterpiece.
Right, for people that are listening, thank you for listening. Go out and let's be honest, you're not going to listen to this on Christmas Day.
Don't go out. Don't go out. Don't listen to his advice. Stay indoors. Okay. If you do go out, wear a mask. Okay.
It's true. Definitely do that. Yes. Thank you for listening. If you have listened on Christmas Day, if you haven't, I don't know why. I don't know why you'd be listening to this.
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you stop your day of festivities with your family, although probably not for most people, and listen to our podcast? What's wrong with you?
The turkey is about to be carved. You silence your dad and you say, listen, for the next 40 minutes, we will sit in silence and listen to this podcast.
No, what you're going to do is that's the absolute best time to listen to their podcast. Do you really want to sit around the Christmas dinner eating a shit fucking Sunday roast, because that's all it is, listening to your uncle spout off his racist, homophobic beliefs while you try to ignore him, or do you want to listen to two fucking idiots disparage a happy movie? There you go. Make up your own mind.
Exactly. I would go with the racist uncle myself.
Same, but that's only because I love racism. Cut that out.
That's true. I'm not going to cut it out, Nathan. It's famous. Your racism is world renowned. As always, thank you very much for listening. We hope you've had a whale of a time on this episode of Another Happy Pod. Be sure to check us out on Twitter for all the good stuff. You can find us there at Another Happy Pod. Drop us a tweet. Let us know what you'd like to see next. Our schedule is loosening, so if you do actually have suggestions, we would appreciate them. Otherwise,
I think we were supposed to do an episode on The Mandalorian last week, but we forgot. So that's genuinely what happened. It was my birthday and we forgot. So that'll probably be the next episode, I reckon. But don't worry, the review recap of The Mandalorian is coming, for anyone who cares. Mostly just me.
Yeah, for all those out there that are craving that. Yep, subscribe to our YouTube. Give us a 5 stars. Tell your friends, and we will see you whenever the fuck the next episode comes out, because this one's not going to be on a Sunday.
Merry Christmas, everyone. Glad tidings to you and your king. Is it king or king?
I don't know.
Glad tidings we bring to you. Is it king or king?
To you and your king? I think it is king.
Okay. Well, glad tidings to your king and your kin. Unless your king is... I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I'm just rambling at this point.
I've tried to end this, Nathan. Do you know what? It's a staple of the podcast that these outros are just famously shit.
It's Christmas, all right? Let me have a shit outro. Give me this one Christmas present.
So, all right, fine. You can have it. Do you know what? Take it away, Nathan.
What am I doing?
The outro, for fuck's sake. Right, say another happy pod.
Oh, all right. I thought you just did the outro.
Yeah, but why are we still talking then?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I'm genuinely confused. All right, you know what? I'll just end this. Thank you for listening. I think we've done this. Thanks. Have a good Christmas, or hope you had a good Christmas. Stay safe. I love you. Another happy pod.